Welcome to the video, my friends. Thanks for joining the video today. So I just got done taking a break from social media for the last several weeks over the holidays. And I've done this before for extended periods of time just to see how it affects my life, my thoughts, my productivity, just my overall well-being and happiness. And what I've discovered is that it's pretty easy for me to live without. And in fact, after the first day or two of not using or engaging in any social media, I'm able just to focus on other things in my life without any issue. But the point of the video today is to take a look at the pros and cons of social media, to take a look at what the Bible says about it, how it can affect God's plan for your life, what to look out for, and ultimately how to keep it a constructive part of your life. So I think we can all agree what is good about social media, right? I mean, we can connect with friends and family and coworkers, even strangers if we want to. There's opportunities to learn. We can get the news. We can get inspired. We can even share our lives with an audience and reach our own audience of people as well. And, throw in some funny animal videos or memes there too. It seems like everybody likes those nowadays, right? So, if you think about it, it really is truly amazing that we can connect with people all around the world. I mean, for example, one of my good friends lives in California, and at my fingertips, I can call him or keep up with him through social media just to kind of see what's going on in his life and to remain friends with him, even though I'm not seeing him every day. I mean, even though everybody can agree that social media has its clear benefits, I think there are drawbacks that we need to look out for, including distraction, comparison or comparing to others, FOMO or fear of missing out, loneliness due to lack of human interaction, or even depression. I mean, kids nowadays, teenagers they're getting depressed and upset because they're not getting enough likes or comments on what they post to social media. I mean, that's kind of the reality that we've gotten to. But I think we can agree social media at its root is about connection, right? More specifically, human connection or interaction. Now, ironically, social media is really just a big tease. You're yearning for connection with other people, but you're really just looking at your phone or at a computer. You're not connecting with anybody face to face. Now, I guess the one exception would be is if you're FaceTiming or Skyping, right? But you guys get what I'm saying. You're really only getting half of what you want when you're engaging in social media. And that may be why people are getting lonely or depressed in our society. What we think is actually helping us to stay connected is in some cases affecting people in a negative way or making them feel even more disconnected. So instead, I think we should focus on seeing people in real life more versus just silently keeping up with people through social media. Go meet up for coffee, go get lunch with somebody, go do a fun activity with your friends, make an effort. I don't think anybody's ever complained about spending quality time with people in their lives, right? And this is actually suggested in the Bible. If you take a look at what it says in 2 John 1:12, it says, "Though I have much to write you, I would rather not use paper and ink. Instead, I hope to come and talk to you face to face so that our joy may be complete." The Bible is suggesting that when you're engaging with people face to face in real life, you can have real joy and feel complete, And even though in those days the modern media was writing letters or paper and ink, I mean, you could have easily done that, but the Bible is suggesting that you talk to people face to face, that you go and engage with people in face to face, and if you do so, you will have joy, you will feel fulfilled, and you'll feel complete. I mean, it's actually suggesting that if you were just to write a letter, or in this case, make a phone call, or engage in social media, you're not going to get all of what you're really seeking. Now, with all this being said, I think the two drawbacks of social media that I want to talk about today that we need to be wary of are distraction and comparison. Now, social media at its root is a distraction, right? I mean, we don't need it. We lived without it for almost 2,000 years. It can slow us down from being productive or accomplishing our goals. I mean, even for me, take for example, when I'm working on something or focusing on something, I have to shut everything off. I got to turn off the phone, the TV, the computer, the music, whatever it is, I got to shut everything off to be able to focus, because between all the messages or notifications or the noise, I can't focus on what I'm doing. So nobody can deny the opportunity for positive impact through social media, right? But it can distract you from God or your purpose, or simply make you less productive. The enemy has created a society of distraction to deceive people into not seeing the big picture of life. Instead of committing sins that we all know, or doing bad things, all the enemy has to do is silently distract you from the truth, from your mission, or from your eternal inheritance, the reason why you are here. We are living in the time of silent deception. We got to be smart, guys. We got to seek truth. We can't just believe everything society is promoting or programming us to think, or telling us to think, or telling us what is valuable. Distraction has the risk of causing people to live a silent death over time without even realizing it. You're only given so many years to live, guys. I mean, do you choose to let society control your life through distraction, or do you live according to God's plan for your life and make it to heaven? I mean, we must get better at seeing through the fog of this life to seeing the light. We have so much more to do and so much more to accomplish than to just sit back and go through the motions and let the years go by. Otherwise, we might wake up one day at the end of our life and realize that it's too late and we wasted a lot of time. I mean, I just saw this quote recently that said something along the lines of, very simple, don't live the same 75 years the same, and it's simple, but it's good, because it's like, wow, like if I were to sit here and just keep doing what I'm doing, the years could easily go by. I could live the next 20 years very similarly to how I'm living now. But you got to make every year different. You got to be motivated. You got to do things, accomplish things, experience things. It's important to actually make an impact and not be distracted. It's like living your whole life on a boat at sea, but never getting to land. Or it's like going to work every day of your life for your whole life, but never getting your paycheck at the end of your life. Don't let the enemy rob you of your paycheck. So, on average, a person spends 1 or 2 hours a day on technology or social media. And I'm talking about outside of work, on your free time. And imagine if you invested this time on your life, your faith, your purpose, your career, your friends, your family, skills, whatever productive realm in your life. I mean, if you just take those hours and add them up, you get to 14 hours a week. That's almost like having an entire Saturday more per week. That's more time that you can utilize. So it starts by making small changes first. I mean, dedicate a few hours a week to the Lord and your purpose, and then add a few more hours, and then before you know it, your life is going to look a lot different and for the better. And when it's all said and done, we can and will always make more time in our lives for what we value a priority. So think about what are the priorities in your life, and what you value and what you're going to make time for. Now, when we're talking about comparison on social media, based on what people are posting or sharing on social media, it may make some of you compare your life or measure your life against other people. For example, people might be posting things about taking vacations to foreign countries, or about milestones in their life, buying a house or getting married, or posting about their material possessions. Whatever it may be, it may affect us negatively because we may not have what those people have, and therefore it makes us feel less worthy. So there's actually a good story in the Bible about comparison. It's in Matthew chapter 20, verses 1 through 16. It's called the story of the laborers. Because it is kind of long, I'm not going to read the whole thing on this video, but I encourage you to stop the video and go read it now, or read it after the video has finished. So this story in the Bible, in the book of Matthew, it's kind of turned upside down my perspective of what's fair and what's not fair. And society has kind of programmed us to delineate what's fair and what's not fair by materialism. But this story has made me think about things differently, because it's made me think about life differently in terms of how God's standard of fairness is. And so the story is about a property owner who hires laborers to work on his vineyard for an equal amount of pay during a single day of work. So some laborers come early in the morning and work a full 12-hour shift. Some laborers come midday and only work 6 hours. And some laborers come at the end of the day, some only working an hour compared to the early workers who worked a full 12-hour shift. Now, at the end of the day, all the laborers from the field show up at the property owner's house for their daily pay, which is a common practice during that time period. And everyone gets paid the same amount or an equal sum. Now, the early laborers who got there early and worked a 12-hour shift, obviously they get upset because they're like, well, how are these other laborers how are these other laborers getting paid the same amount when they only worked an hour compared to our 12 hours? But the property owner reminds them that each of them agreed to a specific amount of pay for that day, regardless of the hours that you worked. Now, what does this story in the Bible tell us? Well, I think it's telling us that the destination and a prize of eternal life is the same for all of us. How we get to that destination to receive our prize will look different when compared to others. I mean, the Bible is telling us not to compare what God is doing in other people's lives or measure ourselves against others. It may seem unfair, or it literally might be unfair by society's standards, like it seems like in this case of this story, but we don't know what God is doing in other people's lives. We don't know what he's doing in your life. He might be testing other people in a different way, or testing them to overcome a personal weakness, or just have them on a different path. We don't know. The why and the how may not make sense, but ultimately there is a reason, and we must pay attention to what God is doing in your life only. One way to look at this is if we're all climbing the mountain to reach the peak, each person is going to start at a different part at the bottom of the mountain to climb, right? Well, the circumference of the mountain is pretty large, and everybody starts at a different place and then eventually makes their way up to the peak of the mountain. And when you think about this, each path that each person takes is going to be different. It's going to vary in level of difficulty. Some people might take a really hard path to get to the peak, and some people might have a really easy path to get to the peak. But ultimately, we all end up at the same exact spot at the peak to receive our reward and our prize. And I think this is relatable when we talk about comparison today and how social media magnifies it, because we are using society as a measuring stick for our life's worth when God already made you worthy when you were born. And he's already got a separate path for you to take. We can't just be comparing to other people and assuming that we're not as good as other people. You were born to have a legacy. God's already prepared a path for your life. The Bible challenges us to commit our faith to him, to spread the truth, and to perform good works. So comparison threatens your legacy and threatens God's plan for your life by slowing you down or making you think that you're not worthy to make an impact or to change other people's lives for the better or to even have happiness. But just, as a reminder, you guys matter. I mean, if you're breathing right now, God has you here for a reason. You matter. You are worthy. You're extraordinary people with extraordinary talents and skills and abilities that God is going to use if you let him to do good things. And it doesn't matter who you know, it doesn't matter where you live, and it doesn't matter what you have. You're still worthy and you matter, and God has you here for a reason. Now, if you want to enjoy the best of both worlds, if you want to be a Christian and you want to engage in social media, I think do it. I think it's great. The power that social media can have if it's utilized in the right way for the positive is enormous. I mean, for example, I've noticed that there's a Christian movement happening in the world on social media right now in society. It's really encouraging to me, and it's motivating me to see that Christians around the world are rising up to do good and to spread the word. It's incredible, and it's motivated me to do more and to do better. But when it's all said and done, be a Christian, engage in social media, but do it by filtering in and out what is positive for you. Only follow, people or channels or blogs or podcasts or things that are going to stimulate you or inspire you or to help you accomplish your goals or help you develop into a better person or help you grow in your faith or closer in your faith in your relationship with God. or, to foster positive relationships. When I go on social media and eventually close out what I'm doing, I feel happy and inspired when I leave, because what I'm choosing to have digested in my mind are positive things that are working for me. No, and no surprise, but I follow several Christian channels or motivational speakers, among other things, including my hobbies. Now, but the important thing to realize is that you allow and tolerate what you see, and what you put into your mind is what you're going to get out of it. If you're putting bad things into your mind that are making you unhappy, then you're going to be unhappy. So utilize social media for its benefits, but if something affects you negatively, limit it or just eliminate it entirely. You don't need it. So I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think about this? What works for you? How do you utilize social media? How do you use it for the positive? Or feel free to share your thoughts in general, positive or negative, about what we're talking about. But maybe take a break from social media and see what happens. Take a break for 1 week or 2 weeks or a period of time, and try connecting with people face to face more often and see how it affects your well-being. I mean, I would just say, don't allow something as silly as social media to rob you of your legacy, to slow you down, or to make you think that you're not worthy, or to take away your life's paycheck, because that's not true. You are worthy and you are here for a reason. Now, that's all I got for today, guys. Thanks for joining the video. Feel free to share your thoughts or comments. I look forward to hearing from you guys. My name is Bryce, and I'll see you guys next time.